Welcome back to Jay All Day, everyone. In today's prediction video, we are going to discuss the San Francisco 49ers going on the road to face the Cleveland Browns. Last week, the San Francisco 49ers blew the brakes off a Cowboys team 42-10. Man, that was an ass kicking of epic proportions, man. And Cleveland's coming off a bye. If Deshaun Watson plays, this could be an interesting game because the Browns defense is pretty good, but San Francisco is the most well-rounded team in the NFL. Last week, Purdy went 17 of 24, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 144.4 rating. OMG. The San Francisco 49ers offensive line is doing a great job protecting the young Brock Purdy. He's only been sacked 8 times this year. That's 6th best in the NFL. The running back situation, Mason did really good last week. 10 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And, we forgot about some guy. What's his name? Christian McCaffrey, who is the best running back in the NFL. He can run between the tackles, he can run outside the tackles, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And not to mention, they also have Debo, Brandon Ayuk, and Kittle, who went off finally last week. 3 receptions, 67 yards, and 3 touchdowns. We will have to see if this very vaunted Cleveland Browns defense can kind of slow down Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be tough sledding, but they are really good against running backs, only allowing 3.9 yards per carry. They have a pretty solid pass rush too. Myles Garrett leads the way, 5.5 sacks, 13 QB hits in 4 games, and they also have a 40% pressure rating, which is in the top 10 in the NFL. The pass defense also does a really good job for Cleveland, kind of limiting deep balls and even those medium routes. Their pass defense allows a 75.7 rating, which is good for 7th best in the NFL. But one of the greatest stats about this Cleveland Browns defense, they only allow 5.6 yards per attempt on the pass. That ranks 3rd in the NFL. Denzel Ward is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, allowing a sub 60 rate. And the Cleveland Browns might have the best safety in Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit has allowed a sub 30 rating for passers, which is the best in the NFL by a landslide. And they also held wide receivers to a 61.9 rate, which is good for 1st in the NFL. So if the Cleveland defense can kind of limit Brock Purdy and that very vaunted offense, this could be a good game. But the biggest question mark is whether or not Deshaun Watson will return, or will it be rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the 5th round pick out of UCLA, who struggled mightily in that week 4 game, 19 of 36, only 121 yards. And the worst part is 3.4 yards per pass, which is an abomination. He was also intercepted 3 times and gave up 4 sacks with maybe the lowest QBR I've ever seen at 19.8. Cleveland Browns only have a chance if Deshaun Watson plays. And if Deshaun Watson does play, they really need to establish that run game, which will open up things down the field. They're averaging right now 4.4 yards per carry, which is good for 11th in the NFL. And they also are averaging 143 yards per game, which is good for 5th in the NFL, which is pretty remarkable. Watson looked really good in that week 3 game against the Titans. Even though their secondary is not the best, he threw for 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an over 120 rating. And Amari Cooper continues to be his number 1 target. He went 7 for 116 and a touchdown in week 3. Elijah Moore runs the majority of his routes out of the slot, but he needs to deepen his routes like 2 to 3 yards. In week 3, he had 9 targets, 9 catches for only 49 yards. That's 5.4 yards per catch. That's just simply not going to get it done. He's got to mix up those short underneath routes with some curl routes or some post routes or a couple digs in that 10 to 15 yard range. And a big question mark I have for this offense is they have a pretty good tight end in David Njoku. Where the F has he been? But it's not going to be easy sledding for this Cleveland Browns offense. They have an incredible defense that they're facing in San Francisco. They lead the NFL in interceptions with 8. Their pass defense rating is 70.9, which is good for 2nd in the NFL. Their pass rush is very good too. They have a quarterback pressure rating of 40%, which is good for 7th in the NFL. And their blitz rate is only 23%. So that means they're getting to the quarterback, they're getting pressure on quarterbacks and not having to blitz. So if they have to dial up some pressure, they're going to be even more successful. I think this game will be close if Deshaun Watson plays, but not that close. I'm going with San Francisco to win this game 27-17. Thanks for tuning into the channel, guys. We changed the channel from MMA Business Hour to J All Day. We're going to concentrate on more than just UFC fights, and we're going to get a little football in there, some betting, and maybe even some basketball when we start. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.